People don't like being told what to do. However, sometimes they just need to be, because many adults still behave like an inept or an incompetent child. Teaching and showing can come, but in the moment, many times simply they just need to be told. The educating can come upon reflection, and this video is where the educating comes in. Now, one thing I've observed as I've moved around many industries, from blue collar to white collar, is that it is more acceptable these days to be passive aggressive in conveying responses. For me, it comes across as weak and insecure, showing that the person thinks that they hold some kind of insignificance. And this week's video, it's about becoming bold and confident in the way you convey a message, in the way you respond. Now, I came from the commercial construction industry. I spent 25 years in it, and I often use examples from that industry. However, I also experienced many other different working environments over the years and had almost 20 different jobs before I finished school at 18. None of them were professional or white collar, so it allowed me to observe the realness of people, warts and all. For about the past 10 years, I've meandered around white collar environments. And from my experience, it's where the essence of this video is more aimed at, in a generalistic kind of way. In the construction industry, clear and straightforward communication is just not preferred, it's essential. Things need to happen, and they need to happen now. Not only for safety reasons, but because dozens of trades and often hundreds of workers are working to tight deadlines in all kinds of weather circumstances and under quite unique conditions. So I'm not going to be all nice and ask someone, excuse me, do you mind moving away from there because it's incomplete and you could hurt yourself? Or I'm not going to be passive aggressive and say, oh, I just find it so fascinating how some people are completely oblivious to signs and safety. But hey, it's not like we all have enough paperwork and reports to fill out. Feel free to carry on and don't worry about inconveniencing the rest of us who understand basic instructions. No, it's a lot more abrasive than that. Hey, stop, move away from there right now, or you're going to seriously get hurt. And I don't have time to fill out paperwork or scrape you off the ground because you're too stupid to read a danger, do not enter sign. Now, I understand that different language is appropriate for different environments. The style of a drill sergeant from the military simply doesn't work in the running of a library, for instance. However, passive-aggressive language really doesn't suit anywhere. And whenever I do hear it, because of my background, I'm quick to call it out and expose the weak person because it's a bugbear of mine. Although I'm learning to bring it closer towards the middle, and that's what I'm going to get into soon. I found that when it's called out, the person almost always backpedals quicker than watching a bike race in reverse because they don't have substance and see provocability as confrontation. Often when I've called someone out, they have even started crying and making themselves a victim. If there was no option 3, I'd rather be abrasive and make things happen than to be weak and fake. I've learned that there is an in-between, an option 3, and that's what I'm going to share. So, how can you become more powerful in your communication to not only build certainty and confidence, but also increase your personal leadership? I'll run through the 7 points soon. However, before I do, I want to add this. A powerful response is about being direct and not rude, being humble and not arrogant, being bold and not vague. It's focusing on solutions rather than just problems. And importantly, it's about asserting yourself respectfully, standing firm on what you are communicating. Lastly, and very importantly, be okay that a person who lacks self-esteem and confidence will almost always receive you in the negative of those examples I just mentioned. In particular, rude and arrogant. That's their stuff. Unlike environments where passive-aggressive remarks might be common, even accepted, construction demands a more direct approach. And this ensures the instructions are understood, safety is maintained, and projects are completed efficiently. We measure ourselves on physical results, looking back at the end of the day and seeing what got done and then what needs to be done tomorrow. There's no hiding productivity in a spreadsheet or on phone calls. The language used in this field often reflects this need for directness, even if it comes across as abrasive at times. The communication is more upfront and might come across as harsh or confrontational. So reflecting on it, it's a no-nonsense, straightforward communication style. And it is often appreciated in environments like construction, where being clear and unambiguous is crucial. Now, does this language suit every other working environment? Of course not. HR departments will go into meltdown, and the percentage of people on antidepressants will dramatically increase. Kleenex stocks would go through the roof. So what I want to convey is an in-between. Bring one polarity of radical abruptness towards the center to meet this other polarity, the one of fake niceness and passive aggressiveness. In the middle, I aim to bridge them with confident and powerful responses. So let's explore the 7 examples of how typical passive-aggressive phrases can be transformed into the kind of direct and unambiguous language that resonates more powerfully and more authentically. Now, for those who are maybe thinking they're going to miss out, I'll also run through 6 industry examples as well, so I can make it more inclusive for everyone. HR just passed me a memo. So the opposite of passive-aggressive language would involve clear, direct, and assertive communication, which avoids hidden meanings or sarcasm. So let's get into the examples, which could be rephrased in a more direct and constructive manner. I'm going to firstly use the fake nice passive-aggressive example, then an abrasive one for context, and then aim to show in the middle what that powerful response sounds like. Example number 1 is project decision making. So in this scenario, a team member proposes a new approach to a project. Now, I've been in this situation more times than I've had a cooked breakfast, and I've seen it play out in every different way. Passive-aggressive responders would say, oh, go right ahead, do whatever you like. So the context for this is, we hear this when a manager or a co-worker doesn't believe in the team member's idea but doesn't want to confront it directly. The abrasive person might say, fine, do it your way. Let's see how that goes. And in this context, a person is frustrated with a suggestion and expresses skepticism about its success. Now, the powerful direct way would sound like, I trust your judgment, so please proceed as you see best and we will give feedback as it unfolds. And in this context, a manager or an owner or a colleague or whatever may be wants to empower the team member, showing trust in their decision-making skills. So by nurturing this direct approach, it enabled me to build trust with the team and spend very little time in the day-to-day running of the business. I trusted them and they felt empowered to deliver. Example number 2. Team meeting discussions.